Hi, my name is Mariah. This is Mariah M Design. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience interning at Facebook through the FBU Facebook University Product Design Program. First, what is this program? What is FBU? According to the website, Facebook University is a hands-on immersive internship program that enables students from underrepresented communities to get to know Facebook's people, products, and services. So the program is 8 weeks long, and there's different ones for engineering, analytics, and product design. And one thing that's unique about this program is you get to work on real projects, or at least for some, at least mine. I know some software engineers didn't do real projects, but I did for my first internship. And the application process consists of a portfolio submission where you submit your best design works, your essays, which I think there are like 1, 2, 3 essays, and you had resume and then 2 or 3 interviews. So for your portfolio, I submitted a lot of graphic design works because that's what I was doing before I started going into UX UI design, and they know that a lot of people in the program don't have a product design background, so a lot of it is focused on teaching you that when you're actually there. So they just want to make sure you have like the aptitude or potential to be able to succeed in a product design, UX UI design field. I guess maybe I should start off by saying product design in Facebook's context is similar to UX UI design, user interface, user experience design. Just in case there's any confusion on that. The essays, I remember I wrote a couple essays. I did a lot of research beforehand on both Facebook and Instagram. And actually wrote about the team that I ended up being on. So I wrote about like what I liked about that team and like what the work was, how the work was like inspiring or motivating to me, and how I could see myself fitting in at this company. And having that research of like looking up the company's culture, looking up what works they've already done and are currently working on, and it shows that you actually care and aren't just applying just to apply. And for the resume, I designed my own resume in InDesign, which I will show a like template of my resume on the screen. I also sell this template online. It's a Canva resume, so you're able to edit it on Canva. And there's an option to put a like barcode or a QR scanner code on there. And I did that because it linked to my portfolio, and I thought that it was a unique way to show that like if they printed out, if you brought in physical copies of your resume, they can easily take their phone out, look up your portfolio that way. Like I also had the link written out, just in case that wasn't the best idea for them or they wanted to use their laptop. I will have that resume linked in the description, so if you want to get it for yourself, you can. It's a digital download, which means you'll have access to the file as soon as you purchase it. You'll be able to download it and edit it as many times as you want. You own the resume after that. And for the resume, specifically what I had on the resume, I had some design experiences on campus, working for my local newspaper, like student-run campus newspaper. Just I had some experience from back home, and I made sure to put all of my graphic design experience in my resume just to show that I had some experience in the design realm. And then I also showed the classes that I had taken that related to design or UX UI design, just so they knew that I had some level of knowledge and experience. So that's what the first round consisted of, submitting all your application. After that, if you get picked up for the second round, you will get a call from a recruiter, and that recruiter will basically just tell you everything you need to know going forward. If you do get the internship, they'd be your point of contact for the whole internship. And this is different. When I did this program, it was right before the pandemic, right before the pandemic hit. So I was able to actually go to San Francisco to interview there and tour the campus, which I don't think is an option now. It might be, probably will be in future years, since they're starting to open the offices back up slowly, little by little. So when they flew me out to San Francisco during my during the springtime, so I applied in January or February. I found out in like March or April. No, I applied in like December, January, found out in February, March, maybe. Timeline's a bit messed up. But they flew me out to California. I'm from Michigan. That was completely free on my part. I had a hotel, and they paid for my plane ride as well. And when I was there, we had a full day on their headquarters, their Menlo Park campus. We had 2 in-person interviews. One was more of a behavioral interview, where it was just like product feedback, or like going through, you would pick out an app, and then critique the app together, going through what was good about it, what was bad. It was really conversational, just getting a feel for like what I already knew about different patterns and design choices. They were asking me things that I would have done differently, what the like target audience was, and as long as you know like how to talk about designs, and you throw in a few little vocabulary words, I think you'd be good on that part. In my second interview, so the first one was app critique, the second one was a portfolio review, which I thought was going to be a lot more intense than it was. I remember it was with one person, and we went over my designs one by one. Just, I was explaining like the process of how I designed it, why, who the target audience was, just going through like a presentation of if you've done those before in school, pretty similar. And on top of those 2 interviews, I actually had a third one when I went back to my college campus, and everyone didn't have that. I only had that because there was some issues with one of the interviewers, and I had to redo that interview. And I can't really get into that, but the second one was actually a lot better. It was like a much it was a better experience for me overall, and I definitely had time to prepare and change up my portfolio for when I interviewed with that person. And I put in a few more of my UX design work that I was currently working on that hadn't been finished, just to show them that I was actually doing UI UX design, not just graphic design. Because previously my portfolio was solely like graphic design, packaging design. That's all I had known. So I changed it up a little bit, included a project that I was almost done working on. And I think that actually helped. Just so they can see that I had experience using design programs and software. I knew about prototyping, things like that. Even if I still had a lot of work to do, I at least knew the beginning, or like basics. After I got back to campus and I had my third interview, I had to wait a little bit, and then I don't exactly remember when, but I got the call. It was still during the school year. This was maybe like March, April. I got the call from my recruiter telling me that I got accepted and offering me a position in the internship program. That was very exciting. I had my first internship ever, my first paid internship ever, and that was so like great to be a sophomore in college with an upcoming internship at Facebook. That's kind of like unheard of for me, but like, wow. After that, wound down from like all the news and the excitement, we got our tech in the mail, and then we got like this swag box. That one had like a really cool mug. It came with a backpack and a t-shirt, which I lost. Sadly, I would have been wearing it today, but I don't know where it is. And that one, and it also came with a lot of stickers, which are really cool. In my internship, I guess I can I can go into the actual internship experience now that I've gotten the application stuff out of the way. It was an 8-week-long full-time internship. It was a salaried position, fully remote, online. They switched to the remote format a few months before I started, so it was all pretty new. But I was still offered intern housing, which is corporate housing for Facebook in like apartments that they have a relationship with, and you would live there for free. I didn't take that up because of everything that was going on, the lockdowns. Yeah, and then along with being a remote worker, I worked from the East Coast on their West Coast timeline. So last year I ended up working pretty late some days because they had meetings, and it would be midday their day, but evening my day. So that was something I had to get used to. I was working from like either 10 to 6 or like 12 to 7 or 8 sometimes. It's definitely much later than I was used to. And okay, starting from week 1, we had a design boot camp, which was very like interactive Zoom lessons where you would learn about different programs, and they basically taught you the ins and outs of designing at Facebook or designing at Instagram. And then we had a starter project, which everyone worked on the same one, and then we presented it at the end of the week, just so we can get a feel of their design systems and how to use the programs native to Facebook. Can't share the project that I worked on last year, but I worked on a team on Instagram. It was a really small team. I can't really share like explicitly what I've done, but I worked a lot with defining community guidelines on Instagram's app, and then also designing experiences around that. And I also worked in the Instagram Live platform. So that was really cool, getting to work on actual Instagram products that are shipped there. Like it's just so cool. Like you're designing for real people. Billions, millions, billions of people use these apps, and your designs are what they're going to be seeing every day. Yeah, before starting the internship, they sent a survey just assessing your skills and your interests and matched you to a team that way. And I think they also took my essay into account because I mentioned the team that I ended up working on, like I stated earlier. On my team, I worked really closely with 3 other people. One of them was my intern manager, who was also a product designer. And then I worked with the content designer, which is someone who they're in charge of all of the copy or text that you see on the screens. So if something has to be written, they're the ones that will do that. And then I worked with the user researcher. So that person does a lot of research testing and was able to provide research that will give context to the problems I was working in. And Facebook is different because they separate all of these and separate everything into different roles. Like one person writes something, one person researches, one person designs, one person engineers or actually builds it. Or other companies expect you to do all of that or multiple roles at once. And one thing that I didn't really expect was half of my job consisted of meetings. I thought I was going to be just designing all the time, but I ended up doing a lot of presentations, a lot of critiques, and a lot of meetings with my manager, my cross-functional partners, my team as a whole, intern meetings, intern events. There's always something to do, always some events or thing to see online. I think that's just the nature of Facebook as a company. And I was the only intern on my team. I worked closely with my manager. So for the projects I worked on, I spent a lot of time in the programs Sketch and Figma. So I worked on visual and interaction design and prototyping experiences. So I was able to get a lot of hands-on experience. I worked on real projects that would eventually be put onto the Instagram app. so there wasn't really the idea of busy work. Like, if they're paying you to do real work. And I was able to learn and have experience working with others professionally, but still in a setting that acknowledged that I was an intern and that I was still learning. So I definitely felt like I was treated like a real designer and that my contributions would be valued, which is something that doesn't always happen when you're interning, especially when you're only a sophomore going into your junior year and like you're very young. And I will say that this internship was a lot of work and a lot of responsibility, and they treat you like an actual adult, so you have to be prepared for that, for working the same hours as an adult and going to meetings and being able to defend yourself in meetings and present things efficiently and articulately. Like, there's a lot of things I had to learn on the spot. And I think I mentioned the culture before, but I would just say that because Facebook is like a social media platform, there's also a lot of that internally. So there's like a separate platform that employees use to reach out to people to keep track of what everyone's doing. It works just like Facebook, but it's not Facebook. Similar to Slack, but I think it's much better because everyone is so connected and you can be a part of groups as well as messages. Like, it functions like a timeline feed as well. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's a lot about what happened in my internship. I'm just gonna stop here. If you have questions, maybe I'll make a second video. But overall, it was honestly an amazing experience, and I'm doing it again, not as a FBU intern, but a full term, like regular 12-week Facebook intern. So that's what I'm currently doing now. I'm grateful that programs like this exist because people like me who didn't have a lot of experience in this industry, in this field that's very male dominated, very not that many minorities or even women in tech. There's such a huge gap, and programs like this are helping to bring more people into the field, to expose them to different roles, different industries that they otherwise would not know how to get into. So I'm very, just grateful for this program, and if you're interested, definitely look into it. That is my experience. That's my experience working as an intern at Facebook. If you have more questions, leave them below. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and I will see you in my next one.